Hello, in this video we're going to talk about the difference between averages and weighted averages. A weighted average is where each different assignment has a different weight in your grade, and sometimes it helps you and sometimes it hurts you. So we're going to talk about how this is different from a regular average, but we're going to do it on paper. We'll just need these grades. You should write this stuff down on your notebook paper to work on it with me on paper in a minute. So write down those weights down here that are highlighted yellow, and then write down the grades next to them on your piece of paper, and then we will go into calculating. Here we go. Got it written down? Good. All right, we've got the weights and the grades written down so we can do some calculations by hand. So each of these grades is a part of your grade and they're not equal parts. So that's what a weighted average is when the parts are not equal. These two do not weigh as much, are not as big of a part of your grade as these two. So the paper one, I guess you kind of messed up on whoever this person is in the beginning of the semester. And then they definitely picked themselves up. But let's see if they picked themselves up enough to get a B. It seems like the rest of their other grades are a B. So if we were doing the mode or the median of these scores, they would definitely have a B. But very few professors do median or mode. So let's calculate this weighted average. First, what we want to do is we want to find this piece of your grade. This grade is 20% of your grade, so we're going to take it and multiply it by 0.20 to get that piece of your grade. So here we go. 0.20. Oh, on helps, right? 0.2 times 64, 12.8 is that piece of your grade. We're going to do that for each of these, and I'm not going to make you sit through that. I'll write them all down. And actually, why don't you pause the video while you find all of those as well for yourself. I actually find that it helps me to draw lines through them because I got a little bit of dyslexia going on, and I tend to, and I'm not terribly neat. So this really helps me just kind of organize what I'm doing. So go ahead and calculate these pieces of your grade and then hit play. Once you've calculated all your pieces, these give you the points out of 100 that you would get out of the possible 100 percentage points for your grade. So had you gotten 100% on the first paper, you'd get 20 points, 100% on that, 20 points, and that would all add up to 100. So this just gives you the weighted pieces of your grade. And then you're going to go ahead and add them up, pause the video, add them up. Are we going to get a B? Do you think we're going to get a B? I hope we're going to get a B. Let's see. Did you pause? Okay, when you add them up, you do indeed get an 80.5, which it really depends on what grading scale you're using if that's a B. The most basic grading scale of anything over an 80 is a B. Yes, you'd get a B. But first I want to compare this to what you'd get with a non-weighted average for this, which is just a regular average. And then I want to look at grading scales for a minute. So a non-weighted average is the average you've been doing since elementary school, where you just add up all the grades and divide by how many grades there are. So that would be, adding them all up, regular average, or let's see, non-weighted average. So for the non-weighted average, you add them all up, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different grades. You divide them by 4, and what you get is 316 divided by 4, which gives you a 79. So in this class, in this weighting scale, especially if a B is, the cutoff for a B is an 80, the weighting actually really helped you. And a lot of professors will do this where the earlier assignments where you're really still learning how to be in their class are worth less weight, and the later assignments are worth more weight. I hope this helped you understand the difference between a non-weighted and a weighted average. and that you'll be able to calculate your grades in a class. I'm going to make another video in a little bit where you don't know what your final grade is and you try to figure out what final grade you need to get the grades that you want to get. And as far as the grading scale, whether this is a B minus, this is a B minus, that's a B, this is a C plus, that's a B, that usually is on the syllabus, or it may sometimes say by discretion. I know in my classes, I kind of just look for natural. I say where the solid cutoffs are, but for the pluses and minuses, I actually put everybody in order, highest to lowest and lowest to highest, to see where there's a natural break, because I don't want two people with a very, very close grade to have different actual letter grades. Hope this helped.